Let's jump to this
Goofball.
video. Speaking of Justin Trudeau, while we're on it, former drama teacher Justin Trudeau said that he has some homework for Canadians, accusing his political rivals of amplifying, not solving problems. Yeah, they're riling up emotions and driving hatred and all that stuff. With all the instability in the world, Canada is actually doing relatively well. Let's watch Trudeau share his beautiful insights.
I know these are uncertain times. So I want to give each of you a little bit of homework as citizens. Whenever you hear a politician speak, ask yourself, are they trying to solve the problems we are facing? Or are they just trying to amplify the problems we are facing? That's the question to ask. Because I want to let you in on a secret. With all the instability in the world right now, Canada is actually doing relatively well. Lowest deficit, lowest debt to GDP ratio in the G7, third largest AAA rated economy in the world after the United States and Germany, great employment numbers, lower inflation than most. Of course, if a Canadian can't pay for their groceries or their mortgages, it doesn't matter that things are even worse elsewhere around the world. We have a lot of work to do, particularly on housing, on affordability, and on climate action. But fortunately for all of us, the solutions fit together, because climate policy is social policy, is economic policy.
Mm-hmm.
We will get through these turbulent times.
Gross.
All policies are the same policies, and that is so. I'm going to have a sip of an energy drink here to get me through that. That was violent.
It made the inside of my ear feel weird listening to it with earbuds. He's saying, like housing and affordability and taking action on climate change or whatever. Taking action on climate change is the reason why housing and affordability are unavailable for a lot of people. He's worried about other politicians amplifying the problems. They're just shining a light on the problems that you made, Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
You're not fixing them. So they're like, hey, look at this big problem Justin Trudeau made. He's like, quit telling everybody I'm doing a bad job. That was the gist of what we saw there.
Well, and he's like they're amplifying problems. He's like, next time you see a politician, I want you to say, are they creating problems like a carbon tax that then they're going to carve out solutions for select areas that they're worried about winning votes in? Like anyone in Atlantic Canada, for example, who's like, oh, I'll vote Liberal, it's like me beating you up and then giving you a Band-Aid. Like it's just the cognitive dissonance. But this guy, he's still like, oh, we're just sunny ways and positivity, and these guys are all negative. It's like, no, they're pointing out like serious problems. And he's like, and on the plus side, Canada isn't, because of the fighting, resilient spirit and the working class attitude of Canadians, it isn't quite as bad in Canada as it is other places. We're the least worst off. Well, the fact that we're even close to them, like look at last time there was a massive economic crash when Harper was in. Canada basically had like a speed bump through this Canada Action Plan and good policies. We're able to weather that. Canada would be doing relatively fine if not for this government, much better, in fact, if not for this federal government. Most of the major issues, inflation, affordability, housing access, mass immigration that's overwhelming the capacity to access housing, foreign governments, foreign nationals like Chinese nationals buying out all the properties and not even living in them with inflated foreign currencies. All of these problems are problems that could be fixed by a not even good, but just a somewhat competent federal government. But the majority of these problems are caused by Justin Trudeau. They didn't exist prior to this Liberal government. They are unprecedented times right now in Canada, and it's because of this government.
I don't know how the opposition party can amplify, as in make the current problems worse. They're not in power. They're not setting policy. So if things are being done that are like tangibly to make these problems worse, I don't know, like hiking the carbon tax in an inflationary and housing crisis, That's being done by the Liberals. The Liberals are amplifying the problems the Liberals created and being enabled along the way by the NDP.
Yep, 100%.
Hey, I got to tell you, I'm going on a cruise with a whole bunch of rebels. We're sailing out of Fort Lauderdale on March 23rd, 2024. That's not so far away, less than 6 months away. A gorgeous trip around the Caribbean. Holland America Line, boy, is that luxurious. And we're going to bring some of our favorite rebel talent. Sheila Gunn Reid, David Menzies, and can you believe it? We're actually bringing Tamara Leach with us, and you are invited. That's rebelnewscruise.com.